Hello and welcome. In my last video, I went over my story, my personal story. And I talked about how our bodily discomfort for people who have ever or are currently identifying as transgender, your bodily discomfort comes from somewhere. Not some mysterious source, not some mistake by God. It comes from something that can be seen in psychology. It comes from some sort of trauma. And so, why aren't people who've gone through different traumas experiencing this? The thing about people who are transgender is I personally believe it is a specific kind of trauma that causes it. And that trauma is being disrespected by the opposite sex. That is really what is fueling these things. That is what is fueling this to happen. If I had not been molested, if I had not been belittled for being a woman, if I had not been told that I couldn't do things because I'm a girl, there would have been nothing fueling my desire to be like men, to be a man. There would have been nothing telling me that I was a man in a woman's body. And I know lots of you out there are thinking, well, that's just your opinion, that's just your experience. And I get that. I get that my experience is different than yours. Everyone's experience is a little bit different. But there is some fundamental part of everyone who has identified as transgender. And that is that we have all been disrespected by the opposite sex. And for people who were born male and went through feminization, taking estrogen and things, they were basically shamed by women, or maybe even sexualized by other men. It may not necessarily be from the opposite sex, but there is some sort of discomfort with the opposite sex having something that you don't. With men having the power that I don't have. With women having the ability to have this life that I want, right? There is something that you're seeing on the other side, and you're thinking the grass is greener over there. That is where this is stemming from, and it's so deep down in your subconscious that you're not consciously processing that part. You're only processing what is on the surface. On the surface, I feel this discomfort, and it has to do with my body, and therefore I need to alter my body. But I am making these videos to tell you that you can alter your mind. You don't have to alter your body. You can alter your perception of your body. You've been told that you can't change it. You've been under the impression that it is impossible to change it, that you are just born in the wrong body, and that's the end of the story. But that is not the end of the story, and I am proof of that. There are lots of people who have detransitioned and either don't feel any better or worse, or they do feel better. The transgender thing is not what people think it is. It is not. It is a psychological thing. And you can change your brain chemistry. Just the way people who are depressed can take an antidepressant, and they can change the chemistry in their brain to have more dopamine. You can do the same thing with your perception of lots of things. There may be things in your life that you can never truly accept, but you can still accept it on a deeper level. For instance, I never liked the attention that my chest would get. I never liked the way men would whistle at me. I never liked that stuff. But I didn't have to let it get to me. I didn't have to let it sink into my skin and anger me. That is that person's problem. And there's something disgustingly wrong with them. Not me. I don't need to be the one feeling bad for their ill behavior. It's this passive attitude within us that tells us to take the blame for other people's actions. And the thing is, yes, that kind of stuff happens. That kind of stuff is gonna happen. There is darkness and light in the world. We can't change that. There's always gonna be some bad stuff. There's always gonna be some good stuff. But if you focus on the bad stuff, it continues to show up more and more and more. If I continue to feel upset at men and feel like they're always out to get me and always trying to do bad things to me, then that's what I'm going to see in my reality. Our mind creates our reality. When you are thinking that something is going to happen and you keep thinking about it over and over and over, you are perpetuating that to show up in your reality. You are drawing that to yourself. And there's lots of places where you can go and you can learn about this. About how that is what our mind is. That is what our mind does. It is basically a manifestation tool. It creates our reality. And if you have a hard time believing this, then why don't you make a list of your thoughts every day and see what you're focusing on? What are you focusing on more than anything? And that thing that you're focusing on, is it in your reality right now? Is it true for you in this moment, the thing that you're focusing on? Because for me, it always is. I have looked into it. I have noticed what I am focusing on is my reality. When I focus on being a victim, feeling like a victim, feeling like people are always out to get me, that is what shows up in my reality. Now, changing that is not an easy thing. Changing your perception when it's so deeply rooted, when it comes from trauma you can't even remember, trauma that happened to you at such a young age that you barely have any memory of it, yeah, it's really hard to rewrite that. And I'm not saying that I am fully there yet. I still have problems. I'm not 100% better. I'm not 100% over the shit that I went through. And that's okay. One day I will be. And right now, I can see the progress I've made. I can see how much I have healed. I have reached out to many people who have helped me along the way. I have changed things in my life through action and through my mental perception. And I'm telling you right now that you can too. You don't have to perceive yourself as this fuck up from God of, oh, oops, I put this man in a woman's body, whoops. You don't have to view yourself like that. You don't have to view yourself as a mistake. You don't have to view yourself as this imperfect, ultra-suffering machine. Right? You were put on this earth for a reason. You weren't here to just be this horrible, broken mess and try to figure out how to function. You were here to get over every obstacle that you are facing. You were here to get over every insecurity that you felt. You were here to reach higher depths than you could ever imagine. And you're not going to do that by sitting in the same old, sad, sappy narrative. You're going to do that by facing reality, by saying, you know what? I don't have to go with this narrative. I don't have to continue going down this path. Even if it seems like, well, Michaela, you just don't understand me. You just don't understand transgender people. You were just a mistake. You weren't supposed to be transgender. Don't take it personally. Don't think about who's telling you this. Think about the possibility that maybe I'm right. Just give it a chance. And if it doesn't work out for you, then okay. But if it does, it's worth giving it a chance. It is worth going deeper into this. It is worth looking deeper. And just because you haven't gone through sexual trauma doesn't mean that you haven't gone through social trauma. Maybe you were shamed for climbing trees as a girl. People are like, well, you can't climb trees, you're a girl. There's lots of stuff like that where we're trying to put unrealistic expectations on each sex. Where it's like, women, you're not allowed to do physical labor unless it involves holding a baby. Even though our bodies are fully capable of doing labor. That doesn't make any sense. Same thing with men not being allowed to wear dresses. Sorry, this one piece of clothing item is strictly not allowed to be on your body. Nope. Again, that doesn't make sense. That has nothing to do with your biological sex. It's just a physical item that people have associated with one gender and not the other. Things like that don't matter. They really don't. And we need to let that shit go. The things that are just material things and literally have nothing to do with your sex, a color, anything like that, let that shit go. No matter what generation you're in, let that stuff go. What does matter is your biological sex. Whether you're male, female, intersex, it doesn't matter. What you were born with is perfectly fine. Unless you have some sort of serious medical condition and you gotta do stuff about it, your body is perfect the way it is. If your nose is pointier than you want it to be, well then, why? Think about why you want it to be that way. Who wants you to have a different shaped nose? And why would that matter? I care more about helping an elderly woman cross the street than I do about making sure that my hair is brushed for this video. Our physical appearance should not matter as much as our morals. Our attention should be more on what we can contribute to society, what we can contribute to humanity, what we can do for all of the life on the planet, what we can do for the planet itself. We shouldn't be focused on our physical appearance so much. And this is for all society, not just transgender people. No one should be so focused on their physical appearance that that's all you think about all day. You shouldn't be focused on making sure you smell a certain way and that you look a certain way and you're spending hours every day just trying to figure out how to fit in with everyone else. That doesn't make any sense. That literally sounds like insanity to me. Yes, if it makes you feel good to wear this pretty dress, then do it. If it makes you feel good to have your hair brushed and it's all nice, then do it. But if you're in the morning every day just trying to make sure that you appear a certain way so that you can attract a certain person, so that you can make sure that everyone likes you and perceives you as this thing, that's not going to bring you happiness. And it's the same thing with transgender. Having someone see you as a certain gender is not going to bring you happiness. It doesn't matter who you are. For a while, I thought that being perceived as a man was really nice. It was really great. And there were things about it that were absolutely great. But at the end of the day, I was never a man. Whether people perceive me as a man or a woman doesn't change my biological sex. It doesn't change it. And other people's perception of you does not change your body. It does not change your mind. It does not change who you are. All of that is just to feed your ego. And I get that sounds terrible. I get that sounds horrible. And I would never have wanted someone to say that to me back when I was going through my transition. But I wish somebody had. I wish there were videos about this back when I was transitioning. I wish somebody had told me that, hey, this isn't the end of the road. You're not just here to suffer your whole life and be an outcast. No, you are perfect the way you are, and you don't gotta change it. You don't need to change your body. Whether I grow out my hair or not, it doesn't matter. All that stuff is just personal preference. And you shouldn't base personal preferences off of what society wants you to do. If you're a man and you want to paint your nails, then go ahead. We shouldn't be so fixated on that stuff. Be who you are and love your body the way it is. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Yeah, so I got a little sidetracked, but the main point I was trying to make with this video is that we are making our own choices. We are in control of our own choices. My choice to remove my breast was my choice, but I was influenced by the men who were disrespecting me. And this video is really important for those people who don't appreciate the opposite sex, whether you're a man or a woman. How do you treat the opposite sex? How do you treat them? If you were that woman, how would you want to be treated? If you were that man, how would you want to be treated? Because the men who disrespected me, they helped fuel this. And all the men out there who are disrespecting females who have gone through masculinization, yeah, you helped fuel that. And I just want to make this clear that if you are disrespecting someone of the opposite sex, you are helping continue this problem. I'm not blaming other people for my choices, but I am telling you right now that other people helped get me to where I went with this journey. And even if I hadn't transitioned, I was cutting myself, I was starving myself. What those men have done to me is not okay. And you really need to think about how you're making the other person feel. It's not just about that moment. Who knows how long that one moment where you whistled at that girl is going to sit with her? Who knows how long that one moment where you put your hands on that woman without her permission? How long is that going to sit with her? Do you have any idea? The way we treat people has a huge impact. And we need to be more conscious of this. We need to be more aware of this. If you need to say something hard and heavy because somebody needs to hear it, that's different than saying something with no conscience and just blabbering your mouth and just saying something so you get a tiny little high out of it that day. I understand that the videos I make are putting people through it, are really making people think a lot, or taking your emotions and throwing them up in the air. But this is such an important topic, and I need it to get out there. I need this side of the story to be there. Whether you agree with me or not, this side of the story needs to be out there. We need both sides in order for people to see the truth. If transgender isn't what I say it is, then these videos aren't going to stop that from being true. But if transgender is what I say it is, then these videos are helping so many people. These videos are going to make a huge, huge impact. And it's important that I share my honesty. And not just my honesty. There are lots of people who agree with me on this. This is not just my voice. I'm speaking for many, many people. People who have kids and are terrified that their kids are going to be going through this. People who are from all kinds of different generations and have lots of different things to say about it. People who are confused, and when I share my story, they finally go, okay, actually, that makes a lot of sense. People who had believed that they were transgender and thought that their life was just this continuum of misery. I've helped them see that that isn't how this story has to be. That you don't need to look out there to find love, to find contentment. You need to look in here. You need to look inside of yourself. Because your internal world, the you on the inside, your mind, it can be altered. Just like your physical body. You can alter it. If you have a very negative perception of something, you can alter it. You don't have to alter things that you don't want to alter. But the point is, you can change your perception about things. And if you're perceiving your body as this thing that is not right and you're uncomfortable with it, you should dive in deeper to why that is. Everyone's going to have their own personal reasons, their own different journey to go through, but I promise you there is something there, and it is absolutely worth looking into, whether you believe me or not. Do it for yourself. Give yourself this one opportunity to just see if maybe there is a chance that I'm right, if maybe there is a chance that you don't have to do this for the rest of your life. Give yourself the opportunity to look at yourself and see if there is things going on deeper, if there is something else, something that isn't what you thought it was. No matter who you are watching this, I just want you to know that your life right now is but a fleeting cloud. What you're going through right now, you will overcome. It will not be here forever. And you don't need to sit here and wallow in it. Feel it and let it go. Feel it and move forward. You are capable of so much more than you think.